Hello and welcome to today's broadcast from Alchemy. My name is Navdeep, and today I'm honored and delighted to let you know that Guru Rattana be joining us from San Diego. This is Guru Rattana's third year teaching in Alchemy, and she will be here in the UK between the 27th and the 29th of August, so be sure to register if you want to reserve your place for her workshop. Now, Guru Rattana is probably one of the most renowned teachers in the Kundalini Yoga community. She's been practicing and sharing technology of Kundalini Yoga since 1977, and she has co-authored several books including Transition to a Heart-Centered World, Sexuality and Spirituality, and Relax and Renew. She's a groundbreaking author and teacher and has written Your Life is Your Chakras and the Destiny of Women is the Destiny of the World. Since 1999, she has written a free monthly astrology Kundalini Yoga online newsletter and offers Guru Rattana online streaming video classes. Guru Rattana teaches Kundalini Yoga teacher training in Hawaii, Ukraine, and Turkey. And you can visit her as well at www.yogatech.com. So I would describe Guru Rattana as an uplifting spiritual leader with a desire to embrace the future and a great teacher willing to break the mold in order to lift humanity. So with that short introduction, I'd like to welcome Guru Rattana on the line. Guru Rattana, good morning and welcome. Delighted to join you today.
Good morning, Navdeep. Great to be here and with everyone who is joining us online.
Can I just get straight to some of the interesting questions? So, you've been practicing Kundalini Yoga for over 30 years, so obviously you love Kundalini Yoga. So what's so special about it?
I love Kundalini Yoga. It boils down maybe to two things. One is I feel good. I like to feel good. And every time I do Kundalini Yoga, I feel good. And then I'm happy. And the other thing is, my day is always better when I do Kundalini Yoga. It's like an insurance policy. I line myself up and I can feel a difference during the day. Things happen, magic happens, alignment happens, and I feel I can trust that I'm aligned with the universe. And this is the way I like to live.
Kundalini Yoga tends to find people as opposed to, you decide that you want to become a practitioner or attend a class. How did Kundalini Yoga find you? What's the circumstances that resulted in you beginning to teach or begin to learn the technology, I suppose, of Kundalini Yoga?
Well, it did find me. I was teaching actually environmental development and international affairs in Dartmouth College. And my sister came to visit me. Dartmouth College is in New Hampshire, and it's about an hour or so drive from Boston, and she was living in Boston. She told me, she said, I have met this yogi. You have got to meet him. He teaches Kundalini Yoga. I'm like, what's that? And she showed me spinal flex, and I'm like, woohoo, I love this. So we went in February 1977 down to Boston, and I took my first class and heard my first lecture from Yogi Bhajan, and after that, that was it.
Wow. What's he like, Yogi Bhajan? What was the class like?
The class was awesome. The guy has a presence, had presence. He still has even a bigger presence.
This is true.
This is true. And I could tell that he was telling the truth and that he was giving us something very special. And when you're in his aura, you're like, wow, something shifts. And the thing that he said that really inspired me, besides feeling good after the class, was that he said, if you do Kundalini Yoga, you will not be able to be controlled. And be in political science, and at that time, very interested and still interested in how you change political structures that are exploitative on the planet. A bell clicked in my mind, and I'm like, oh, that's it. We have to change our consciousness in order to change the economic and political system. It's a spiritual shift that has to happen to create the economic and political shift. And I just got it, that this guy was teaching how to make that paradigm shift. So the political and the spiritual were like right together for me. And I'm like, this guy knows. what to do. And that was it.
Guru Rattana, do you feel that at that time that he was able to see the sort of issues and problems and challenges that we're coming up against, like even today, 30 years further on from the point he was teaching this stuff?
Yes, what he talked about, we're experiencing right now.
Yeah.
The shift between the Piscean and the Aquarian age, I mean, it's a massive shift. And I know everybody is feeling an intense energy and wondering, like, what is the problem? Why is all this stuff happening to me? Why is my life upside down? Why are people going nuts? It's a energy shift that we have to adapt to. And he told us 30 years ago and all the way until he left was, this is the technology that will take you through. He said, you've got to have something powerful, otherwise you won't be able to deal with the intense energies.
Yeah. Do you think there's some simple things that people can begin to do? Let's say someone's never attended a Kundalini Yoga class and they're aware of these major changes, the major sort of challenges going on in the world, and just don't know how to deal with them. You know, there's a lot of old structures that are seem to be like a deck of cards almost. And there's new structures coming in that haven't quite found their footing yet. What advice would you give people to help them navigate this sort of this chaos or this new landscape that's coming into our awareness at the moment?
The basic thing that people have to do is change their inner reality, because the outer reality, whether it's in our personal life or in our collective lives, is that it all reflects what's going on inside. We are conflicted inside. We don't have an experience of inner peace. But that is very actually easy to find with Kundalini Yoga. And I'll give people just an example. You can put your hand, interlace your hands, put them over your head, like 4 inches above your head, and do long, deep breathing. That will open up the crown chakra. And immediately after you put your hands down, leave them up for 1 or 2 minutes, maybe 3, and you will notice that you will be able to shift channels in your mind. And that is the whole key, is that we have to be able to shift the channel from our conflictual, dualistic mind into our neutral mind. And at that moment, you will understand, you will experience that there is a place of peace inside your head. You can look at it by closing your eyes, seeing the space. You can listen for it as the sound of silence, and you can feel it as a presence. And as soon as people get that there is an alternative place to our mind that's driving us nuts, that is the first step, and then you keep working on it. And every single Kundalini Yoga exercise will take you into that space.
Wow. You mentioned something there I want to ask you about. You said the conflicted dualistic mind and the neutral mind. Can you explain what those two terms mean?
Well, the mind has basically, 3 channels. One is our rational mind, the mind that we use every day. And it's dualistic, meaning that sometimes it tells us something negative, sometimes it tells us something positive. That's normal. We need first the negative to activate, like, oh, you better not cross the street, there's a car coming. And then the positive mind says, yeah, and once you cross, you're going to be able to buy that pastry that's in the pastry shop on the other side of the street. But when the mind, the dualistic mind, does not have access to the neutral mind, because the neutral mind will say, step back without an opinion and give us the truth. When we don't have access to the neutral mind, then the positive and negative mind, or the positive and negative parts of the dualistic mind, perpetuate a conflict. They perpetuate a fight. When we have access to the neutral mind, the other channel, the peace channel, I call it, then we can step back and say, okay, I see this part of the problem, I see that part, I see this idea, I see this warning, but what from my own truth of my soul is the right thing to do? We find that in the neutral channel. And then there's the subconscious mind that's creating havoc all the time. And it lines up with the negative and the positive minds to put out all this old programming that controls our reality. So what we want to do is shift our reality, and to shift our reality, we have access to our soul and to the universal mind, and that we find in the neutral channel. Then we have an option, and then we are actually able to shift our reality.